Drawing dry brush is a technique that's used to delineate areas of veins or other details. The best approach to it is to dampen the area first and then draw into the damp area to create a soft line as opposed to a hard line. I use a size 4 series 7 miniature to dampen the area first, and then take a size 1 or 2 brush to draw in the lines. Drawing into the damp area makes a soft line initially, and this is a much more natural looking indentation where a vein is, as opposed to painting a solid hard line onto a dry surface. I work my way across this whole bottom petal first using the same approach, and then go back in with a more concentrate mix of paint again on a drier surface, and this creates a sharper line where I want it. So I need to take into consideration the light and shade as well, and not draw these lines all over at the same weight, but pick them out where the darker areas are. And then we've also got the markings on the petal as well, and I can add those too later. You can see how this technique starts to pull this painting together and make it look like a real petal. Initially we start off with this rather loose wash underneath, and there's some transparency there in these petals, so we really need to pull it together with these veins to make it more realistic. We can also sharpen the edges of the petals as well later on, just tweaking little areas where there's little crinkles in the petals and painting those in, just picking out the edges, just drawing in with this dry brush method. And you can see again on this side how I'm just drawing them in the darker areas and leaving them paler where the light catches. There's also some very dark markings in the centre of the flower, and we use the same technique again, but using an even more concentrate mix of paints to put these in. I'm just dragging down the page with a fine brush to make these sharp, dark lines. And it's a good idea to practice these lines on a sheet of paper, making very thin, long lines. And you can see it's quite dry. It's quite a slow process, this type of veination work, and so I'm going to let you watch through to the end of the video, and you can speed it up or slow it down. It's quite long, it's about 15 minutes of this. In reality it would probably take me about an hour to do this properly for the whole flower, to put all the veins in. So we put them in soft first, and then we sharpen them up, sharpen up the edges, and do a little bit of brush work just to make shadows in the curves and where overlaps are, all using a drawing dry brush. And it really is, you're drawing with your paintbrush when you're doing this type of work, as opposed to using a wet brush technique.